Like everybody should vote, everybody should grow, should take part in the system.
No, I think everybody should grow weed.
Oh,
okay.
So your specific interest, you're saying your perfect career, your ideal lifestyle is to do something in cannabis and have it be a teaching something.
Yeah, right now we're setting up a program to where we can basically have a seminar, a class, and basically we just teach people how to grow top to bottom, from mother plant seeds all the way up to where they could have themselves a continuous harvest in their backyard, in their basement, in their closet, with very minimal amount of money going into it, and have very impressive product come out of it.
How did you come up with this idea?
Everybody that I know that wants to grow needs power to do it. Well, if maybe if I bypass my meter and do this and that, then I can grow this and that. And I'm like, hey, you can blow up your house, or you can immediately commit a federal offense. Your choice. I'm just talking about growing a plant. I'm not talking about all that crazy stuff.
Right.
So, a lot of it's going in and saying, hey, look, if you lose this lighting, and I guess it's just from experience that I kind of take for granted because I just so many years of doing it. But correct lighting, you don't need a big, high, intense lights like everybody thinks you need, and you can grow some really, really fantastic bud.
You have to talk more about the lighting, what you're talking about, because I've just interviewed 2 people in the last 2 weeks who have talked about lighting. Everybody had their theories on the importance of lighting and what's needed and what's looked at. Tell us a little bit about your world of what light means to you.
In my experience, it's not the luminas or the par. It's all of it together. So you could have a small light in a perfect climate and get better performance and better buds than you could with a high-end light in an improper location, whether it's too hot, too cold, change in climate, change in temperature, and all these little minute things that people don't think about that really affect it. So I guess it's not just lighting, but if you just put a real hot light in there and you got your 1,000-watt HPSs up there and they're just burning away, it brings up so many different issues that it's a vicious circle to try to repair.
What do you use? What lights do you have at home?
I've moved everything into the induction lighting. It's kind of a hybrid, I think. Technologies have been out there for probably 15 years, but they're a little bit more expensive to develop, so right away they get pushed onto the back burner. But you can get a nice induction lighting that's not going to eat you up in electricity for $200 that'll grow some fantastic plants.
$200 for lights.
It's a $200 light. But the difference is it's in a full spectrum. You get everybody that has a MS light and a HSP or HPS light. Most growers use a MS light and a HPS light for the different cycles. I found manufacturers, just being in the industry, that'll sell you a full spectrum light if you simply ask for a full spectrum light. I believe that the full spectrum is a little bit more like the sun. The sun shines down, giving all the spectrum, the blues, the reds, all the colors to your plants and everything on Earth. Each plant, each different thing uses part of the spectrum the way it absorbs it into them. And plants, never been a plant scientist, but the plants seem to do better outside than inside, no matter what kind of light you have. If you give them a full spectrum light, I think they're happier. Cool. And that's it.
That's it. That's all you got to say about lights.
Well, it's the other lights, anything with the high pressure sodium, they're expensive because you have to cool the facility. There's a fluctuation in temperature all the time. It takes heavy cooling equipment.
What kind of growing do you work with? Like just small stuff, big grows?
Well, I'm not interested in providing a lot of little plants for everybody. I usually just grow my own prescribed amount. The seminars are to teach everybody how to do it, and then I also have a service to where we've actually turned it into a tech service to where we offer tech support, installation.
So you'll go out and help people set up stuff?
Yeah, pretty much. Set it all up for you.
Is this it? Do you think you found your dream job, your dream career?
I'm having a lot of fun with it, really. I don't dread the phone calls. As an electrician, people would call and it's another customer. I really enjoy working with the people. People want to have this. When they do electrical work, people have to have it. Your lights are off, so you need to have your electrical fixed. Nobody likes to pay for that. I found in this business that people are dying to pay for it. They want to jump in and say, hey, that's cool. That's $3,000 for the whole setup. Bam, here you go. What do you need? Let's get her done. And I've never really found anything else that other people get as excited to actually spend their money on.
Maybe, man caves, TV setups, jacuzzis. There's probably a handful of items that people get excited about.
What really excites me is to see the new diversity of all the people that you would never expect It's your brother, your aunt, your uncle, your buddy lives out and on the ranch himself. It's just everybody is starting to see what it really does. And I'm a firm believer that God put cannabis on the earth for one purpose, and it wasn't to make laws and put people in jail over. And if we would just simply investigate and take a scientific look at what we can produce with the cannabis plant, if we would look at it like we look at that, and we know what everything is made out of, and what everything can be made out of, and we take the ore out of the ground and the iron and we make steel and we make buildings and we make industry and we make cars and we make tires out of, and it's just crazy. But we can't make medicine out of a plant. It's crazy. I've seen before my own eyes. It's helped me gratefully.
All right. Well, why don't we leave the ranting and long speeches to me?
All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's just do that.
No, just kidding.
It's something I believe in. I've always believed in it. So
it's interesting because I'm actually, with this podcast now, just thinking the same thing for myself. Like, have I really found something that I can get up in the morning about and look forward to? Stay up late and get up early and still look forward to with the same enthusiasm of any other career or job that one would be enthused to go to, whether you're an accountant or a painter, whatever it is you do. If you're an electrician and that's what you get off on, getting up in the morning and going and turning people's power on, by all means.
Right.
Go at it. I've worked probably 50 some different little jobs, whether they've been one-day jobs to week to months to a year long over my 35 years of life, and very few of them have I woken up in the morning with a smile running to work,
right,
or been overly enthused about how much money I was making. This podcast isn't making any money, and
it doesn't matter.
But there's another stream of revenue that can come through, whether it's selling a T-shirt or having another business you sell.
I enjoy teaching people to grow. I enjoy seeing the smile on their face when they light up a bowl that they grew. I had a neighbor, 65-year-old lady. She grew the best vegetable garden ever. So she used to give us lots of vegetables, tomatoes, squash, big, giant squash, huge pumpkins. Every time I seen her out, her left hand she would hardly not use it at all. And I turned her on to cannabis oil that I'd made myself. You could see the relief in their muscles. I believe it's just arthritis that she had, but the relief in her hand, it was incredible. I turned her on to growing, and I'll tell you what, you've never seen an old lady be so happy.
Yeah.
She made her own medicine with her own plants that she grew.
Well, I had my mom actually ask me if I could get her, I'm not sure if it was seeds or clones or something to grow her, where she could potentially grow her own, like on the window ledge of the kitchen or something, for a friend, quote unquote, a friend who was in pain.
Sure.
And she was wondering if she could just grow some plants and then cook it in some brownies, and voila. The concept is there, but that's not exactly how you do it. You don't want to just grow window seal plants, because when you're looking at medical grade, it's very important that the quality is top notch. It would be equivalent to, alcohol. It's not just about potency, it's about quality and all around cleanliness and everything of what you're growing for medical patients.
Right.
And you don't want to then make a bunch of edibles, whether it's oil or anything else, throw it in your stomach, because that's going to give you a completely different reaction than smoking it. And a lot of people are against smoking because it has a stigma with it, but it's actually probably better for a first timer or somebody else to get that initial head high rather than sticking something in their body that they can't shake.
Well, the body knows what to do with the types of cannabis that you use.
It's already in the body.
Right. Well, see, if you use cannabis, break down it in the oil, and use oil for, say, most of the cannabis cooking that we do in our home use is from the oil that we mix. It's as simple as mixing up some oil in a low temperature cooker with your choice of quantity of cannabis. The more you use, the stronger it is. The less you use, the weaker it is. And then you just mix that appropriate amount of cooking oil into your brownie mix. Most brownie mix calls for a 1/2 cup to 1 cup of oil, whether it be vegetable oil or olive oil, breaks down trichomes. I've watched it under the microscope. As soon as you squirt a drop of oil onto the trichomes in the microscope, they melt.
Where do you have a microscope?
Well...
And where are you under a I want to see you in the lab coat under a microscope taking notes.
No, it's not quite a lab coat, but you're welcome to come by anytime.
What's your methodology?
I kind of have a little lab going in my house. I have my flowering room, and then I have my mother/veg room. It's kind of starting to look like a kind of a science lab there. I do have a couple microscopes. They're not super powerful, but they are times 100.
So you have two rooms that you grow in?
Yeah.
And why do you have two rooms? Why don't you just grow everything in one room?
Well, I have one room that's set up on the 12 and 12 flower cycle, and one room that's set up on the
12 hours and 12 hours, meaning the lights on, lights off?
Right. The 12 and 12 light cycle and the 18 and 6 light cycle are the triggers that make the cannabis flower. You can grow a cannabis plant in 18 hours of light forever, and it'll just grow and grow and grow and grow, and it will never bud, and it'll just get tall and tall and big and big.
It'll become a Christmas tree, basically.
You can make a Christmas tree out of it, and it'll never flower until the light cycle changes. As soon as you change the light cycle to 12 and 12.
Interesting. I do not know how to grow. I've been explained probably by 100 different people over the years how to grow, and it's never stuck. It's just one of those things that I just cannot seem to get down. Almost as difficult as learning another language.
Well, a lot of growers don't know. They say, well, it's summertime and it's warm where I live and we have a long summer. I can get 3 outside grows. That's not true. What triggers the cannabis plant to flower is the short light days. When it starts not having enough light, it starts producing a protection, and it says it's time to seed. The trichomes are actually sticky because it wants all of the pollen that's flying around to stick to it.
See, I don't know enough about growing to even know if you're telling me anything that's on. You could be like the interpreter for the president that was doing all the crazy signs. That's what you could be telling me right now about growing, and I would have no idea how to filter that out.
And this is exactly why I started to put a class together, because I go to my friends' houses and I start telling them all this stuff, and they're like, well, what? Dude, oh, man, so... It's hard to just kind of jump in the middle like we have and just tell you how to grow. We could literally do a whole class and teach you. It takes about, for me to tell you how to grow and to show you how to grow, takes about 4 hours.
So in 4 hours, I can learn how to grow, go home with my little grow kit and start growing?
Exactly. I literally take a mother plant, is a plant that is in the vegetative state that has never been turned into the flowering state. There's 2 stages to growing medical marijuana, or any marijuana.
What are the 2 stages to growing marijuana?
That's an interesting subject on itself, is I don't know the difference between medical marijuana and other kind of marijuana.
The difference in the sense of what the overall concept of medical marijuana should be is a controlled grow that is the highest quality and the most cleanest organic way, that is producing the most potent medical use, meaning the least amount needs to be consumed to get the maximum effect from it. So medical marijuana is produced by top growers in the sense that it could pass, the challenge of experts that say this is the primo, the top of the top. So if you're just growing off the street and you got some backyard the only people that want to buy up real big bulk amounts other than police are going to be dispensaries. But dispensaries aren't going to want to buy from some stranger because they have to control their grow because it's medical grade. So they have to show their patients and the state that what they're growing is top of the line. So that percentage that they're buying from other people, they need to buy from other people who they know are credited growers.
Sure.
Because they're required to grow 70% on premise. Now the recreational thing...
Well, that just falls back down onto what I said, a clean facility. The most important thing you want is not to have bacteria, not to have, maybe not bacteria is not the word.
The little bugs in your plants.
Yeah, not to have anything on your plants. You just want them to grow in a happy, perfect environment. So air filtration is very important. I preach 4 things. Air filtration, light, don't give them so much water, and, I can't remember the other one.
Oh, you just pulled a Rick Perry. You just pulled a Perry. I got 4 things, and you named off 3. Oh, you're out of here. You're done. Your whole business is through.
Maybe it was just 3 things. Well, that's just it. There's not even 4 things to growing weed. That's it. I mean, you got to have a clean facility. You got to have airflow, light, and no, that was it. That was 4. What did I not say 4? Maybe we just counted wrong.
Name them off again. What are they?
Okay, you got to have airflow. Okay, nice, clean, sweet airflow. You got to have light. Not an overpowering, crazy light, just something comfortable and steady. And then you gotta have your water.
That's two.
But don't. Everything that they intake is from your water. So you got to make sure your water's clean. You got to make sure the balance and pH is right. Tap water will kill your plants. You don't want to use tap water. Tap water has so much microorganism killing products put into it so that it doesn't harm us, that it just eats up every microorganism in your plant bed.
So you're saying tap water is actually too sterile, too clean. It doesn't have enough